All right, I'm showing that we're live. So,
Woohoo!
hey, Miss
Hey.
Helen. Hey, welcome everybody in Pursuit of Pleasure. I am so excited to be hosting my friend and the owner of Cultivate Health Coaching, Miss Helen Burney. I am so excited to have you. Helen is also the creator of the energetic eating method, which I'm super excited to dive in with you on because I know that you are like so in the middle of this with so many people helping so many women, and I'm excited to dive into that more today. But Helen has been you have been kind of all over the place, and I have loved talking to you about your journey, your energetic movement that was seen in the New York Times, your book Nourish. Like, you have just totally dove into the work and are sharing this beautiful message. So I am excited to be hosting you today and to just nerd out with you for a little while, all about things of cultivating our health and energetic eating, which I definitely want to talk about because I think
Yeah.
so many women talk about weight loss, but we never really talk about the energy around that. And I cannot wait to talk more about what that actually means and looks like and feels like to people, to give them like a really good sense of what that is. But I'd love for you to just introduce yourself and how you got
Yeah.
into this work, because I think you have such a beautiful journey.
Thank you so much, Vikki. It's like such an honor to be here with you and to speak with your group and to be in your presence. You've also helped me. And when you came into my group and just explained somatic healing and all of the work that you do has been so valuable. And I told you I had the best run of my life after the session with you. So I have so much gratitude for you and respect for the work that you do. And nerding out with you is probably one of my favorite things.
I know. Thank
So
you.
yeah. So gosh, where do I begin? I live in Maplewood, New Jersey, and I lived in Brooklyn, New York, and in New York City for a long time. And then as I had two children, decided like that kind of really fast-paced life was a little too much. And so we up and moved out here to Maplewood, the suburbs, and went back and forth from New York to here for a while. But now my business is all in Maplewood, and also of course virtual. So I grew my virtual programs after my one-on-one practice because of COVID, actually. So I knew that I wanted to make a bigger impact. I wanted to offer that to my clients. And so I took all of the components of what I had been doing in one-on-one sessions with them on the table in kinesiology, and also through one-on-one coaching, where every single woman that came in to see me, they're like, I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight. And I'm like, I hear you. And there's a whole story of your life that needs to be told and talked about and healed in order for you to get what you want. And so I came up with the energetic eating method based on a lot of the issues that I had, which I'll share with you today for sure in my story. But based on what I discovered, what women thought that they wanted, and actually what they truly needed when it came to their health. And then I was able to build this thing and then incorporate movement into it, and bada bing, bada boom, here we are.
I love it. It's so fun to see. I mean, like so many of us, when COVID hit, we were really challenged to kind of pivot. But with that came this amazing gift and opportunity to reach women in a whole different way than just seeing people in person. So I think this is one of the just awesome things. Like, I'm clear out here on the West Coast, and we connected recently over the summer. For those of you guys who know, I do some traveling to retreats to North Carolina to a coach that both Helen and I have worked with, and which is where we met over the summer at a women's retreat, and yeah, just really connected with the idea, just our kind of methodologies and our values around
Mhm.
our approach to just, it's really a lifestyle, what we're talking about, not just health,
Yeah.
it's just like an actual lifestyle. So
Yeah.
I totally vibe with you on that. And I, as you're talking, I have all these like pictures in my mind of, like, you have the most beautiful website and with lots of
Mhm.
pictures just to kind of tell the story. But I would love for you to just kind of share your health journey. I mean, it
Yeah.
didn't actually start out in the realm of health, right? You didn't even start out at health coaching.
No, no, not at all. Long story short, I've been a media producer and I've been an elementary school teacher, and I'm here now doing what I do. That's a whole other evolutionary story. I'll keep it to the whole like issues surrounding weight loss and body image for the sake of this discussion. But hopefully, I'll get to know some of the ladies in your group, and I can share more of my story around that whole transgression. Yeah. But anyway, so geez, my story around weight loss. I sought diets from the age of 10 years old. And I write about this in the book Nourished. From the age of 10, when I stood up in front of my class and I said, my New Year's resolution was to lose 10 pounds, is the first day that I ever really experienced shame around my body. And I didn't need to do that. No child needs to do that. But I was really heavily influenced by the grownups. And, let us know if you relate, like 80s and 90s kids, 70s, like that's really when the fad dieting stuff came up and you started to be surrounded by it. My mom had Slim Fast in the refrigerator. It was always about her body, always about losing weight. So I had that influence all of the time, also compounded by the messages that I was being given that this is the New Year's resolution that we make in order to be happy. So looking back, I didn't know it then. And for 20 years, I had no idea what I was actually looking for, but I was looking for joy. And I was looking for joy in a number because there was something else going on in my life that time personally, around 10 years old that I didn't really know how to handle. And so that started my broken relationship with myself over the next 2 decades of looking for diets to control myself and to lose weight so that I could see something I loved on the outside so I could love myself on the inside. Yeah. And that went through, it was whether it was Weight Watchers or 21-day fixes or intermittent fasting, juice fasting. I made up diets. I did diets within diets. The last diet that I did, not even that long ago, maybe a little over 5 years ago, was keto diet in combination with Whole30, in combination with intermittent fasting. And there was this moment where I was just trying to get this 5 pounds or last 10 pounds. And I stepped on the scale and it hadn't budged. And in addition to that, I had night sweats. Like I was unhappy. I couldn't sleep. I was like not well at all. Did I need to lose weight? I was in the higher range of the BMI, but at that point it was more about the psychological struggle that I was going through. And when I stepped on the scale and I saw that it didn't move, I had like a come to Jesus moment. And I was like, the problem is not me or the foods that I'm eating. It's that I keep stepping on this thing, expecting a different result, and I'm miserable.
Yeah, totally.
And so I literally took the scale, walked out my front door, and I had a neighbor run over it with a car. Like we had this whole...
I was going to ask you, is that true? You really
It's true. That's a totally 1,000% true story. And I haven't stepped on the scale since then. And as a result, I started really thinking about what actually needs to change. Number one, it's like making those kinds of dietary changes and being on and off again in that yo-yo way is because we keep setting intentions on a number instead of what's important to us in our lives. So I said, what if I stop saying I want to lose 10 pounds and I start saying I want to show up as a good mom? I want to show up. I want to build my business. I want to, like, what would it take for me to do that? In the process, I began the journey of energy healing. So at that time, I was in integrative nutrition. So guys, like total vulnerability thing here, I was a trained integrative nutrition health coach, and I was still trying to diet. And so I realized the solution isn't in micromanaging my diet or my body, but in understanding what I actually needed, which I couldn't figure out until I got into energy healing. And I know, Vikki, you with the somatic work, it's about, I mean, when you use your words or someone tells their story and you see the trapped emotions and in the body and where it lies, that's what that is. And you teach people how to feel that, but emotionally and physically. And I began to see that that's also, I have a superpower in teaching and feeling that through the things that people say about themselves and the foods that they're eating.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and then, I love this.
So it just, I got into energy healing big time and got certified in psychological and biochemical kinesiology, which is using biofeedback tool, like your body is a biofeedback tool to figure out what's on and off. And through that process of doing it as much as I did, I came to realize that there were some basic truths, mindsets, foods, stories that people hold that I could generalize in this group program and help heal people online instead of, having them have to come in all the time.
Yeah, it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
So within this program, you've got kind of what you call a triad. You've got the eat, the think, the live.
Yeah.
Can you kind of talk about that part of it? Because this is essentially what you're teaching inside of this program of yours.
Yeah. Yeah. So energy exists all around us. In my line of work and what I work with in the body realm is the thoughts, the foods, and then the lifestyle. So those three things are the triad of health. If one of them breaks, you can notice it and you can notice the subtleties in that break. For example, when you eat something and it affects your energetic body, you'll feel it in your mood, your digestion, your energy levels, your focus. Something can break there with it. We have an opportunity to repair when we slow down enough and we have someone like a coach like you, in the physical realm or in the emotional realm or with me in the food realm to say, okay, I'm willing to repair this for myself, not for the scale, but for the most important things in my life. Right. So we challenge ourselves to be really aware of how what we're eating is actually affecting the way that we feel. If we can repair that quickly, then we can continue to have positive thoughts about ourselves, and our lifestyle also doesn't take a hit. We'll be willing to move still. We'll still be willing to sleep. It's the same thing with the lifestyle thing. If your sleep is off, or if you're up watching Netflix until 2:00 in the morning, physiologically, your blood sugar is off, your cortisol is off, like everything is off. And it's really hard to repair your relationship with food unless you say, you know what, it's about the sleep. And then we have the thoughts about ourselves. I hate myself. I can't stand myself. I have to lose weight today. I should work out today. Those things can get broken too. But we have an opportunity to repair them. If we don't, we feel shame. And that's when we start eating in a way that is in alignment with ourselves. Guess what? If two of the parts of the triad are broken, that third one is gone.
Yeah.
So the goal is to really heal, prioritize the parts of that need healing now so that the whole thing doesn't break. And it's okay. For example, I was telling this to my clients over Thanksgiving. I'm eating like I want to eat on Thanksgiving because the food is beautiful and it's nostalgic, and the energy that I am putting in and receiving from this food and this moment doesn't break anything else. It doesn't break the thoughts I have about myself or even my lifestyle part, because I'm also saying I'm going to work out today. And when I have my food, I'm expressing gratitude. Like, we have a chance to really have our lives and our circuits in our body connect to each other when we're that self-aware. And you can be taught that.
I love this so much. We talk a lot about mindset in here, and just, I'm such a firm believer that that is such an important part, like how we're thinking and feeling about ourselves really trickles into the lifestyle choices that we're making, the food choices that we're making. And I love how you pull this all together and teach into that. So can we talk a second about like the energy of things? Because I think that is something that we don't often talk enough about as practitioners. Like, I know as a practitioner, I talk a lot about it in my individual sessions because it's like really like I'll tailor it to like one client. But even like in this group, like I don't talk a lot about energy and as like a general topic. And I think we tend to kind of shy away from that topic. I'd love to dive into that a little bit with you. So can you kind of share a little bit about that?
I would love to too. And honestly, Vikki, I used to shy away from it too, because I'm like, oh, don't want to go too woo. Like somebody's going to be afraid, or they're going to think like, whoa, you're out there and all of that. But I found that the more like I could just authentically speak about the energetic quality of things in life, the more people start to say, you know what, like nothing else has worked. And energy is the only thing that is constant all of the time.
Yeah. It's interesting. A lot of the clients who are like, okay, tell me about it. It's usually we've gotten to that place where we're so sick and tired and nothing else has worked. And they're like, okay, you know what? Like, let's just put that all into the table because nothing else has worked. So let's go to the woo side.
Yeah. Let's go to the woo side. I think everyone needs to go to the woo side first, because it's ancient. We're talking about like ancient methodologies, ancient healing modalities, ancient medicine. And we're just now being like, hey, do this new thing. It's actually not new at all. People have been talking about this for thousands of years. Traditional Chinese medicine, right? Acupuncture, meridian lines of energy that travel through the body, and it's the only thing that you can actually feel. You know, you don't need a blood test for it. You don't need a stool sample for it. You can actually understand what's going on in your body, and everybody's understanding of that is different, right? It's like we can talk about energy. Like if everybody who's watching today, or if you sit here and you start to say things about yourself like, oh gosh, I'm so tired. I don't want to. I don't feel like it. I'm so fat today. Like the quality, you literally start to curl up and get small, you know? But if you say things like, you know what, today's the day, I'm willing to take a step in that direction. I trust my process to health. I trust my process. I'm powerful and flexible. I mean, I'm having chills and goosebumps coming down my like legs and into my shoulders. We get to choose that. We think that we're forced into feeling a certain way because of what we see, but that's our own judgment. I can choose the words coming out of my mouth that I'm fueling myself with. And as a result, I can make more progress in my life. We think that we have to take action from lack, right? Oh, I hate myself and therefore I need to take action. How about I love myself and I want more of that?
Yeah.
So different.
It is so different. We're so trained to take action from lack. It's like that's like been our driving force. And so to kind of step out of that, I find that it's hard for women to initially trust that they're going to have enough inspiration, enough pull to go in the right direction. If they don't beat themselves up, if they don't come from that place of lack, that's going to be, if they don't have that driving force, there's going to be nothing there that drives them. And so helping women get out of that, I think, is probably one of the greatest gifts that we can give ourselves, is that trust in ourselves that we're enough. But the other thing that like really kind of sparked that curiosity in me as you were talking, that I think is really important to pay attention to too, is the words that we are saying to ourselves as a form of energy, of fuel. Like we think of food as being fuel, but so are our thoughts and the sentences that we form and the things that we're saying about ourselves and the things that we're believing about ourselves. Like that is also a form of nourishment. And so to bring attention to that, I think is one of the most powerful things that I think that as practitioners we can do. And I love that you bring that into your practice so much.
Yeah, it's true. It's really in being your own thought detective and food detective. And I know when Vikki, when you were working with us on like the pain feedback loop and just the session, the somatic session that we did, I remember coming back to the next session and telling you like, I had this pain in my back, but I just allowed it to be. And I didn't expect it was traumatic or some horrible thing that was happening to me, but I allowed it. And I was like, it's a signal and it's a message that's coming in, and it went away. And then you have the gratitude for it going away. It's the same thing for not judging yourself for going into food or into, you know, that type of situation. And when we come into talking about the energy of foods, the reason that I got so invested in this is because at the time when I was doing keto, I was like on all almond products. And so anybody who's done like a carb-free keto sort of thing, you're like, no carbs, all almond meal, almond products, all of that, right?
Everywhere.
Everywhere. That's like what you focus on. And when I went into for one of my first energy healing appointments, and the doctor was like, my chiropractor who was performing the session on me said, he said, how much almond are you having? I'm like, well, I put almond butter in my coffee for like fat bomb coffee. I use almond meal in all of my treats. He's like, yeah, like it's blowing your circuits basically. So what I've learned to look for my clients when we do the personalized nutritional journaling is the excess of things that we put in as a result of fear from not wanting the other thing. That can be fear of carbs. It can be fear of gluten. It can be fear of fat. It can be fear, all of that fear-based food stuff that drives us in excess in another direction causes sensitivity. Same thing for me. I was a vegetarian in college. I was so sick. You know what I was highly reliant on? Soy protein.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So now I've developed an allergy or a high sensitivity to soy and to almonds.
Yeah.
Because of my fear of this other thing is a result of me hating on myself. That's
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
trapping, right? Like,
so
and then it
good.
can ruin your life. Like,
Yes.
we
I
can't
think
let
like
it.
how we do this everywhere. We do this like, is this like, so this is why I love your work. This is why I love what you're doing and teaching people this, to have a different relationship. One with the scale, like we're so scale oriented,
Oh,
but really what we're talking about is truly, it's a different relationship with yourself, but it's thinking about the food differently. I love how you're saying this, like eating the food because you hate the other choice or you're afraid of the other choice and what that's going to do to you. Wow, this thing that you're consuming so much of is actually inflaming your body,
yes.
creating an inflamed
Yes,
response.
exactly. And
Like,
that's where the integrative nutrition piece comes from. Like, I realize this is inflammatory, but energetically, I hadn't realized that until I was able to move through and say, our bodies speak,
yeah.
right? Like, our bodies speak, it's trying to say something. And I'm ignoring that signal so I can lose 5 pounds. That is a disservice to ourselves.
It's so, oh my gosh. I have so many stories of my own journey. Just I grew up with like a meat and potatoes, like very Midwestern, very
Yeah.
bland, uh food diet, and then went to college, and like I was burning massive amounts of calories as a college athlete.
Yep.
And the day that stopped, it was just like my whole like understanding of how to feed my body blew up in my face, and I gained like 40 pounds, like just like that. And it was just like, and then I was like unhappy, and I was consuming all of these extra sugar products and
Yeah.
candy products and fried foods and all the things, right? And then bulimia, and that, it just like it kept compounding, and then the diets, and then the cleanses, and I mean it was just
Yep.
this like ping ponging. And I would love to know, like, just in the chat, guys, like, what's the craziest diet that you have had? I think it was us having a conversation of this, or I can't remember who it was with, but just naming all the like silly weird diets that are out there, like being children of the 80s and the 90s, watching like our moms go through all of these just like ridiculous, hilarious diets. I would love to hear some of the like funny ones that people have gone on, but
Yeah, me
getting
too.
off of that, and like not stepping on the scale and feeling like you're listening to your body and just not having to think so hard about the food is so liberating. So I'd love to know, like, I'm kind of putting you on the spot here, but
Sure.
like, like your clients that are going through your programs, like by the end, what are they experiencing? Like, what are they noticing by the time they finish working through, your program? Like, what do they get to have as a result of this?
Yeah. Well, first of all, they stop feeling guilty about their choices and they feel empowered in their choices. So they look behind them and they'll say things like, I can't believe I went through Thanksgiving and I didn't give it a second thought and I don't feel bad about my choices. Now, here's the thing. They don't feel bad about their choices because number one, they're making the ones that are best, honoring them. And number two, they don't honor just their nutritional body. They also honor their emotional body. And as a result, they can sustain the way that they're living and eating and thinking for a longer period of time. So, of course, they lose weight. Of course, they drop inflammation, which wasn't possible before because their bodies were confused. They established trust in their bodies that the choice that they're making is right for them. And when it's not, because it's a journey, it's not an end goal.
Totally.
When it's not, because I get stuck in that too, they recognize it quickly. They see it and they're like, oh, blew my gluten circuit. Cool. I know exactly what to do. Oh, like I've been sleeping in a lot. I know exactly what to do. It's knowing yourself so well that you can pick yourself up and you can continue on.
Yeah. That course
So
correction is so empowering too. It's
yeah,
not that I hear, I hear this a lot, and I'm sure you do too. It's just this like women beating themselves up, like, oh, I fell off, like I didn't do my thing, or I didn't eat the right thing, or I didn't do the right exercise. Like there's just like so much like blame and shame around like falling off. Like I went straight for 10 days and then I fell off the wagon for a couple of days. And it's like, what if there's no wagon to fall off? Like what
no
if it's actually
wagon.
just yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like let's just course correct. Like you
Yeah.
recognize it. And like, I love how you've got the triad of things to look at. So it's just like, what's maybe kind of going off. So like you're developing that awareness and that clarity for yourself. And it's just so empowering. So can you share, you've got this super cool workshop that's coming up that I think everybody here should join. So can you tell us like what that's going to be, what people are going to learn in this workshop of yours? And we'll drop the link in for this class
Totally.
too.
Yeah. I have the link ready I'll put it in the chat in a
Awesome.
second, in your chat in the
Okay.
Zoom, and you'll take it and put it in the
Awesome.
chat and the thing.
Totally.
So it's the weight loss freedom workshop. And what we're going to go through is I'll talk more about the triad of health, and we're going to come up with a 30-day plan to address the most negatively impacting parts of your personal triad. And then you'll have a plan to overcome them. And in the workshop, it's going to be super high vibe, really fun. I'm going to share a little bit more about my story and the work that I do. And we're going to give away some prizes, which is going to be fun. But I think the most important thing is to really come with an open heart and open mind, and ask yourself, what would it mean to have weight loss freedom? Is really understanding what thoughts, foods, or habits do I have aren't serving me, and am I ready to let them go? And am I ready to adopt the next ones in? And that readiness isn't, again, based on the number. It's based on what I call your best energetic self, which is a vision for the life that you really want to live, and taking that action for that, because you're so much more important than a number.
I love it. I love this. So what would you say to the woman out there who's scared to like get rid of her scale, like to stop weighing herself? What would you say to her?
All the time. You know, it's funny because I have I'm going to put the link in the chat.
Yeah, perfect.
My clients still comes to me. They're like, I still haven't gotten rid of this scale. I'm like, you know what? It's fine. Just like, let it go, let it go. But those who are afraid, I'll say what I've learned actually in the past couple of months is that when you're afraid of something, you want to run towards it. If something feels scary to you, you want to go right in that direction, because on the other side is massive change.
Yeah.
Massive change. And if that's the one thing, like think about this. There's no other context, I hope, and if there is, people seek help for this, right? Where you are going to allow something to guide the way you feel about yourself every single day. And I'm taking a risk every day. When I step on it, I'm either going to be delighted by what I see, or I'm going to be disappointed by what I see. And if I'm delighted, I'm lighting myself up based on something that doesn't even belong to me.
Yeah. Wow.
And if that's what I'm allowing myself to feel every single day, to see if I'm doing a good job in my life, I'm always going to be miserable.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Always.
Oh. So liberating, Helen. I love this. I am actually going to be joining the workshop. I cannot wait to be a part of it. And I want all of my people here to give it a chance and pop in and join this amazing, incredible opportunity that you're sharing, and just the work that you do. I think any opportunity to work with somebody like Helen is just a tremendous gift. And I learned this way back in massage therapy school. I did my training on the island of Maui, and 1 in 7 people on the island are licensed massage therapists. So it's just like a saturated market of people on Hawaii that like a good percentage of them is a body worker. And one of the questions that one of the students posed, they're like, do you think we can actually make a living like with so many people on the island? Like, is it possible to even make a living? And the fact of the matter is that this is why I love introducing more people to the realm of coaching, because we offer different things and different perspective. And when you get to hear it, it's like all the things that I share within In Pursuit of Pleasure, you're saying in a completely different way that sometimes it just drops in such a different way. It's like, oh my gosh, now it all makes so much much more
Yeah.
sense. And I just like, I love connecting people up with like what resonates, because really the overall goal is like to help more people, more women, like achieve confidence and empowerment and just change the world. Like, we do not need to be wasting time stepping on the scales, feeling terrible about ourselves. There's like important shit that needs to get done out there. Like, let's do it, ladies. Let's do it. So
It's true.
yeah.
Yeah. Our lives are too important. Yeah. I have people who will put off working with me because they're like, okay, I'm going to finish this coaching program. I'm going to finish this. I'm going to like in pursuit of pleasure or happiness or joy or weight loss, whatever it is, like it just like follow where you're guided, like just go for it. And it's there for you. Like all of these things are there for anybody to take at any time for them to be able to live their lives effectively, lovingly. And there's nothing that I have gotten more joy out of than investing in my well-being when it comes to my mental, emotional, and physical health. And I think that it's necessary work. And when someone's working with someone like you or me or in the coaching realm, to be able to have that support in between, which is so different than like session-based stuff or having a community to come to and talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
That's a part of moving the energy too,
Yeah, absolutely. Ripple effects, the change is just so much bigger. I love it. Helen, thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate your time so much, and I'm excited for this workshop series coming up for you that you offer and the programs that you have to offer women. So please, ladies, if you check it out, please let us know. Keep us posted, ask questions in the chat. Helen will be around to answer any questions, things that resonated. We had a comment, Stephanie commented, I saw this was a really funny one that she put on the when I asked about the different diets that are out there, she replied that she did the 3-day military diet with hot dogs and broccoli. Oh,
no way. I can't
terrible.
believe I haven't heard of that one. That's amazing. Well, it's crazy. I have women who've been coming to me for, do you have a second, Vikki? Not to take
okay. For sure.
Okay. Yeah. So, after they do, it's called Optavia, and this is like past my diet time. And, they just get sent these packets to mix with water and with food and to eat it like that. And it's so restrictive. And it's just like, it's like rehydrated like food particles or something. And I just, after all the diets that I've done and all the smoothie packets and all of the, the Franken foods and the things that I thought I had to do, I did more disruption to my microbiome. And it's taken me 10 years to fix that.
Yeah.
So, any of that, hot dogs and broccoli, that's a new one.
I love it. Right.
What's your craziest one, Vikki?
The craziest diet, actually, I would say probably the craziest diet I've put myself through. It was just a juicing. Well, back in my days, I used to be a colon hydrotherapist. Did I tell you about this at the retreat?
No.
Oh yeah, I always say this. It was like a really poopy job that I had. So I saw like a lot of crazy, like I've seen a lot of crazy things, but I wanted to understand what my clients were going through who were coming to do the colon hydrotherapy. And a lot of them were coming in with like heavy metal toxicity and just all kinds of just gut health issues. And so they would put themselves on like a lot of juice diets. And so I did this juicing diet that consisted of beets, carrots, garlic, and ginger. And it was like this daily like morning juice. And it was just like a 32-ounce bottle of this juice. And I gagged it down for probably about 21 days. And after that, my body and then it was just like the rest of the day was like fruit, like juices, like run through the juicer, pure juice. It's no fiber, just the sugar of the juice. Right.
Yeah.
I couldn't eat broccoli or I couldn't eat, garlic and ginger for like 5 years after that. Like I couldn't even put it in my food. I couldn't smell it. I was so grossed out by it. Like I could smell it like on people's breath, like when they would come in, and I would just like have to have like the gag reflex and like, oh my gosh. that was the craziest. It didn't have, just was like a juice cleanse. It wasn't like a crazy one, but it was,
That's crazy though. It's
it
like
was
you're
intense
gagging
to
it
my
down every day.
body.
I remember
Totally.
the lemonade diet, and that was
Mm,
like cayenne, lemons,
yes.
something, and then you did that, and then you had like the
Yes.
salt water or whatever, and
Oh
then by
my
the
gosh.
end you're
Totally.
peeing from your butt. Like
Yes.
it was,
So
and it's supposed to be clear. I'm like,
right. I
this
know.
is not, and like I did that. That's for what? I was like
Yeah.
shaking with flu symptoms in my
Oh my gosh.
office.
I
Anyway,
know, right? It's just
ladies,
this like idea of like
please.
cleansing in like cleansing from the inside, like purexing our bodies, right? It's just this like sanitated, like we're gonna clear everything out from the input to the output. Like it's all gonna be clean. Like there was some like heroic journey that we had to go through that. So it's like, yeah.
Your body will do its own job very quickly as long
It's
as you're
so
paying attention.
wise. It's so wise. It really is so wise.
Yeah.
Helen, thank you so
Thank you
much for
so much,
being
Vikki.
here. It's
You're welcome.
awesome to see you. I love you.
Okay. I
All
love
right,
you too.
everybody. Thanks for being here. Bye-bye,
Bye.
everybody.